Hello and welcome back to Twin Forks Amusement Park. This is episode 2 in my series of unknown amount of episodes. With this episode, you'll notice that we are continuing on our entrance slash hotel building that's going to be at the front of our park. I did want this to be an actual functioning hotel, so with the game giving us the option of actually putting a hotel into the building, I did just that. That main corridor that leads to the ticket booths to get into the park itself also contains an entrance that will allow guests to enter the hotel. So, I don't know how well it's going to work. Maybe sometime in the future I'll actually open up the park to see how the guests react to having the different aspects available to them. So, nice thing is, other than the main entrance, the rooms are dictated by little boxes that you put inside of the building. Luckily, I had enough space hidden there that I could put 5 boxes in, and I didn't have to worry about any other space being taken up or it intruding upon the clean aesthetics I was going for with this build. So, first thing I was working on was making sure that the wood on the second floor is able to cover all the openings without intruding upon any of the walls that were already in place or being too tall. I did have to make some adjustments to the levels in order to make them even across the way, but that was pretty minor. Alright, so now I've started working on the second floor walls. Since the floor is in place, it's just a matter of just like on the first level where I just needed to enclose the building and take care of the dead space so that the building looked proper. It took a little bit of aligning work to get everything going, but with a couple of splits from the main building, I was able to get the wall pieces in the right spots. So just like the other wing, I wanted the front of this building to have an open feel to it. No big pillars, no nothing like that. Just top, bottom, and a glass panel opening the interior to the exterior lights. This back section I had a couple of different ideas. I wasn't sure yet if I was going to keep it enclosed and have just glass panels to mimic the front of the building, or if I ended up or if I wanted to have more of an open feel to it. The design choice that I eventually went with was actually to make sort of a balcony on the back, and with that balcony in place, I just had a glass wall and 3 sets of doors so that the guests could get out onto the balcony while the interior space could be theoretically still climate controlled. As much of a game this is, I still wanted to make the building as realistic as possible. I wanted to keep in mind limitations that would be in place in the real world and embrace those while creating this building. So one of the walls got a little wonky when I tried to create that second floor, so I had to go back in and adjust it by removing it from the main building and going from there. But it all worked out in the end. I added some doors thinking that I could access, or it would act as an access to an interior area that I hadn't determined what it was going to be yet. They actually don't end up staying in the building, spoiler alert, because I just couldn't place what I wanted to do with them. Finally getting to putting the glass panels into the front. It took 3. The weird thing is the glass panels are set width and the building wasn't always the same, so it kind of put in a little bit of it looked like overlap. So it's not a big deal. I tend to just deal with it. And here I is trying out the back to see how it would work just to close, but just like everywhere else in this building, it ended up being just too square. And that's honestly the biggest downside to having a building. The details, you can have as much detail on it, but if it's just a big box, it's not going to really be pleasing to the eye. So I was trying to avoid that at all costs here. And I was able to even use doors that had glass in them, so placing them on top of the glass panels allowed the doors to also be transparent. And I think this came out with a really cool effect. You'll see me placing some wood pillars to try and give it a little bit more separation. I'm not sure I like the look of them after going through the video again, but I'll take a second look at it and maybe there'll be some changes for it in the future. So just like I did with the guest rooms, I decided to use the split barricade for the exterior of the balcony. So just like before, I used the quarter height walls and then just put some of the black fencing on top of it to give it a little bit more of a detailed look. I'm pretty happy with the results. You'll notice in this video there's a lot more open, just looks like viewing shots. I'm trying to get an idea of what the building was going to look like as a whole, what details I can put into it to where it blends together but still stands out. And then here, I finally get to installing the lighting package for the inside. I tried to keep it, once again, elegant, like the original design for here was, but while also providing as much light as possible. And the problem with Planet Coaster is that the lighting isn't really all that good. They definitely did a lot better with the lighting in Planet Zoo, at least from what I've seen. I haven't actually played Planet Zoo yet. One of these days, maybe I'll get a hold of it and play with it a little bit. But I was just trying to use indirect and direct lighting all the way out the place. So the roof has the can lighting that shines straight down, and then the walls have floor lighting that shines up and it illuminates the walls. Now, as I was going through this, I noticed that I was short one can light on the one side, the first side that I did, and I'm going to go back in once I continue on here, and I'm going to take care of that. You'll see that corrected in another episode. With the black marble and everything, and the wood, it looked really, really good with this indirect lighting on everything, and it made it look very professional. Completely off topic. I still have no idea what I'm going to do with the back half of this building where the actual turnstiles are for entering the park. I don't know if I'm going to make like a veranda type of situation that just kind of extends out the back that's not really part of the building yet connects the building to the park itself, or I really don't have any idea. If you guys have any suggestions, feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know. While you're down there, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit a like, dislike for the video. Let me know what you think. Anything is helpful at this point. I wasn't happy with the way the pathing was set up, but in the beginning this pathing was still just temporary. I have a feeling that I'm going to end up just deleting all the path here and just starting from scratch with when I decide to come back and take care of the landscaping for this video. For this building. Right now I was trying to figure out how to make the front of this look less bland. It's just, you had the second floor and the skylights that looked really good, but the first floor was just, it was a flat wall with windows. How am I going to be able to break that up while still keeping with the overall design aspect of the building? I decided to put like a little planter up here in the front, and I filled it with the coconut pieces, which when colored correctly kind of looked like mulch from a distance, so it worked out really well. I put some low-lying plants in there. I attempted to put some trees in, but for some reason I couldn't get it to look right. I don't know. I need to look a little bit more into the foliage to see what I can do, but for right now, the low-lying shrubs and the other foliage are going to have to do. I honestly have no idea what I was doing here. I was trying to break up the facade a little bit. What made me think of using some random pieces like these to try on the front? Yeah, I didn't like it when they were done. They were immediately removed. I guess it's called testing, I guess. What I ended up just doing is taking the wood trim that I had on the second floor and just expanding it in a way that it just kind of broke up the monotony of the first floor. It really does work well. It doesn't like protrude or give it that much depth, but it definitely keeps it from looking plain. I don't know, once again, I was desperate for trying to figure out what I was going to do to this thing. It was really, really bothering me how boring it looked. I think the roses might be a little too much. I might adjust their color later on to see how it works. It was just, I think they were just too bright for the overall building. But for now, they're still in place. Here I was testing the trees, and I needed something tall but skinny so that it didn't intrude on the building itself, but the only thing I could find were these trees, and I really didn't like the look of them, so they didn't last very long. So yeah, without the trees, it actually does look pretty good. It's gonna be hard until I can complete the entire plaza with all the detail work. And now it's time for what could be considered the most complicated part of this section of the building. It's trying to figure out how I'm gonna get the roof on top of this main structure while also blending it in with the roof of the wing that was already built. I think you'll be happy with what it came in. I was definitely very happy with what it looked like at the end. I couldn't decide if I wanted to keep with the artistic flow like a wave like the wing was, or if I wanted to keep it simple, straightforward. I actually ended up going with a very simplistic design, but it blends and complements the other building so well that I don't regret anything. I love the way it ended up looking. It looks extremely elegant, it looked very modern, and it was exactly what I wanted. With the blending, there were a few alignment issues I had to solve, but nothing that was too difficult. As a little bit of a prediction, when I start working on the last wing, which is what the next episode's going to be about, you'll definitely see my ideas basically getting quite wild, but it looks really, really good, and most of my roof alignment issues were completely solved, so that's just a little look into what's coming up next. Not in this video, but the next video. Yes, I know what that looks like. It doesn't stay. I'll be completely honest with you. It reminds me of an airport. You know, the large sloping ceilings and just wide open spaces. It's just very inviting. Now, one of the final things that I did in this video is I completely re-looked at the color scheme for the building. The tan was very earthy and I enjoyed it, but you'll see in a few moments how I kind of just go through and completely redesigned the color scheme, and I think the final result looked much better than what you had at the beginning of the idea phase, or at the beginning of this video specifically. The browns were nice, but the new color scheme just adds to that modern flavor. Alright, so here we go with the color palette change. I'm going to leave you here. Once again, thank you for making it this far into the video, and I appreciate your viewership. Once again, if you haven't already, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Go ahead and click the like button if you liked the video. If you gotta click the dislike button, I'm okay with that. It teaches me. I hope you enjoy the remainder of this video, and I will see you soon.